Welcome to Musings with MastermindED.
On this episode of Musings with MastermindED, you will hear from two educators as they reflect on a resource from Slate, a podcast called Man Up. This episode is Crafting Characters Without Bias, and the two people on this week's video will discuss how they might use that with their students. As always, the link to this resource can be found in our video description.
My name is Brian Jackson, and I am the middle school coordinator at International School Mainfranken in Schweinfurt, Germany. I think this is a powerful resource to be used with students because it's non-threatening. It's a reflective piece in which both the host and his guest are talking about their own experience and how they have evolved and changed, and not in a way where they're pointing out to other people or telling anyone how they need to feel about things, but speaking in a very frank and open manner about themselves. So particularly with young men and boys, this is a really poignant kind of thing to get into because this affects them in a very deep way. And often they don't realize it because we're embedded in this culture where toxic masculinity is given as a norm. So I think this is really important to use. And I would also caution people who want to use this to make sure that you're not telling anyone what to think and that you keep this very open-ended and allow any response. My own journey into becoming a more, I'd say, healthy man was facilitated by somebody who wasn't accusatory but was actually acting as a mirror for me to be able to let me see myself and reflect on what it was that I was holding in my head as a truth that I'd never actually considered the source or where it came from and why I may or may not want to agree.
My name is Eugene. I'm a personal academic coach at Journey. I think this episode is extremely powerful and something definitely worth exploring with students. It talks about the power of representation, about how we build our identities, about how important our childhood and those teenage years are when we are constructing and building who we are, but also how we have to behave in the world we happen to be born at, right? I think we owe it to the students, and it is our responsibility to open these stereotypes, open these conversations, and be able to uncover. Then we can allow them to rewrite them, and we can support that process. And also how okay it is to sometimes have different opinions, beliefs to what your parents gave you. The power of reflection. In order to unlearn something, you need to be able to reflect about it. First of all, you have to identify your own stereotype. I think that we are definitely the sum of our experiences up to when we are 17, 16, like all the things that we heard, all the things that we saw, what our parents did to us. But I think that at a certain point in your life, 15, 16, 17, you have to stop. You have to stop yourself and you have to really look back, analyze everything that you've gotten here. And this is the moment when then I think that your life becomes not only your experiences, but also the sum of your choices. That schools are the perfect place for this to happen, where they can receive the validation that they're looking for and where they can feel safe and trusted. Be there, listen, be open, and just allow that to happen.
If you have a listen to the podcast in the video description and you also have thoughts or comments on how to best use this with peers or students, please leave us a comment.